then we're gonna move into some neck and sort of outer part of the shoulder stretches here for the upper traps and neck muscles. From a all fours position and just slightly forward of all fours. So I've got my hands just a little further forward so that my hips are a little in front of my knees. I'm gonna take one arm and thread the needle. So we call this thread the needle pose. I'm gonna slide this hand and arm across, rotating so I come down onto the outer part of my shoulder here. And then let your head either come down to the floor, or if your head doesn't reach the floor, you could use a block or a towel or pillow there, but let the head come down to the floor. And you should feel a stretch somewhere in the back part of the arm that's down, right? And as I'm here, I'm gonna create a little bit of tension through my body to deepen the stretch. So instead of just sinking down and kind of flopping over, I'm gonna push into the hand that's on the floor here to bring a little more rotation. And then this arm that's down, actively press it into the floor. And the stretch will come somewhere, sometimes into the side of the neck of the side of the neck that is down on the floor, as well as the space in between your shoulder blades. But I'm not letting my body just sink into it. I'm actively actually pushing away from that arm that's down, and I'm pushing that hand and arm down into the floor. Staying here for 5 to 10 breaths. And then coming out of the stretch, push into the hand that's on the floor, press yourself up, and switch sides. So you'll take this hand, and the arm that threads through stays fairly close to the arm and wrist of the hand that's down. You're gonna reach across, lay down onto the outer part of the arm and shoulder, lay your head or sort of the temple down on the mat, and then actively push into the floor. And this arm, I'm actively pushing it down. And then with your breath, think of directing the breath to the back of the shoulder. So you're breathing kind of into that space in between your shoulder blades, behind the shoulder of the arm that's down. Feeling your ribs pull in a little bit, so you're getting a little bit of core with that breath. You're pressing down into the arm, other arm is pressing down. After about 5 to 10 breaths, push into the hand that's on the floor, bring yourself up. And after that one, I just like to go back to a little bit of a child's pose stretch, full rock back here. You can bring your forearms down, just let the lower back stretch. If the head doesn't reach the floor, it's nice to use a block, just so that the head and the neck aren't doing quite as much work and you get a little bit of stretch through the lower back. I'm pushing into my forearms and just taking a few breaths there. Another couple of exercises that are great for helping to stretch out the neck is, again, find a comfortable seated position. I'm gonna sit up on a block and take, okay, let me think here for a second. All right, a couple of exercises that are great for stretching out the neck, the sides and the front and the back of the neck. So you're gonna take one hand, bring it over to the opposite ear. So I'm just taking this arm across. I'm gonna reach this arm actively down towards the floor, and I might even sit on those fingertips, right? Just a little bit so that I'm actively reaching my bottom arm down. Gently pull the head over to the side. And this is one of those stretches that you don't wanna just yank your head over, right? As you bring the head over, create a little bit of oppositional tension. You're thinking of also pressing the head back into your hand. So you'll feel a stretch in the neck and outer part of the head and shoulders there. So you're stretching into that side that's up. Depending on where your neck is tight or what muscles tend to be a little bit tighter, sometimes taking this down arm and bringing it slightly behind you will deepen the stretch into kind of the front of the neck. So you're reaching this arm just a little bit back. You can also change the rotation of the head. So right now my head's looking straight ahead. I'm gently pulling the head over, pressing the hand and head together. You You can also rotate the head down and look down towards the knees. I'll bring my hand a little more behind my head. And as I'm pressing my head slightly down, I'm also pushing up. So again, this is one where you want to think about the rest of your body staying tall and lifted, and you're just bringing that stretch into the neck. And taking a few breaths there. If that doesn't feel like the spot that's tight for you, sometimes turning the head up a little bit. And again, leaning away, I'm gonna gently pull my head over, but also push my chin slightly up here. Just turning the head and the gaze up, that's gonna bring the stretch a little bit more to the front of the neck. And then just always being really careful and kind of gentle when you come out of the stretch. Bring the head back up and just notice how that head, neck, kind of shoulder complex feels on that side. Right now, for me, it feels like this shoulder is now just sitting a little bit lower and is a little bit more relaxed. So I definitely want to stretch out the other side.